Now I want us to work a bit with our upper body. We're going to do some stretches for our shoulder region. And we're going to start in a standing position. I like to use triangle pose as a platform for different things. It's great for the back, and it's also great as a platform that we can hold and do some stretches for the shoulder region. So we're going to come to the edge of our mat, the front edge of the mat, so we have room to step back. And this is going to be a very simple triangle pose. We're going to step our right leg back, comfortably far back. And the first part of this is going to help us release our hamstrings. This is going to be a multi-purpose work through this pose. We're going to tighten up our thighs to alert the body that we want to release the hamstring. We're going to lengthen our spine to alert the body that we want to bend only at the hips. And with a long spine and thighs tight, we bend a little bit. Now, expect the sensation to build in the hamstring well before your chest is all the way down. Right? So we lengthen through the front of the body. We're feeling some stretch, but it should be mild. We're not trying to burden the body with an over-sensational stretch. But as soon as you've lengthened and you've tightened those thighs and you hold for another deep breath, we're going to bend that left knee so knee is over ankle. We're going to put that left elbow down on that knee and continue to pull forward, keeping hips in the center. Now reach your right arm like you're pointing back behind you. Stretch it backward and then point it out into the room slowly. Reaching through it like there's just that thing you want just beyond you and all the way forward, and you're just reaching. And then when you're pointing, starting now down toward the floor, you're reaching. It's pleasant, it's not unpleasant, until you're pointing backward with your reach again. And then we're going to take it out again. It doesn't have to be exactly the same trail that we're traveling. We're reaching, and then we're pointing down and back. And then we just let it swing a little bit. But now we go the other way. We're going to reach it forward. We're going to really reach. And then we're going to point it outward until we're back. And then we're going to point it backward, downward, until we're again forward. And then again, out we go, until one more time the arm is down. We just let it dangle right there. We dangle it. Now keep the hips in the center. We're going to bring that right shoulder and chest upward. Keep looking down or out to the side. We're going to lift the chest, and if we're comfortable, the arm. We're going to reach up toward the ceiling with chest and arm. We're going to reach our head and chest also toward the front of the mat. Breathe nice and deep. And then on your exhale, let the arm swing back first, and then just let it swing down. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to lift the shoulder and the chest, and we're going to start to pull up and maybe the arm, and we're going to reach up, both up and forward toward the front of the mat. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, let that arm swing. And then once again, we're going to lift the chest, the shoulder, and the arm. We're going to stretch up, inhale. And then exhale, let it swing. But now we're going to start to bend the right knee, put the right hand on the knee, and crouch down. It's like you're looking underneath, I don't know, under something, a car, I don't know. And then you just bring yourself upright. Oh, nice. All right, so second side. Second side, we start it all over again. So we stand those feet about hip distance. We step the left leg back this time. Okay. The first part of it, we're trying to create releases by tightening the thighs, by pulling in the core, by lifting the chest, and then we bend at the hip. And the right leg is going to let us know what it's feeling and where we're feeling it. So we're in that position. And we're just letting it sort of mature a little bit. We're still reaching the chest. We're still tightening the thighs. Breathing deeply. And on the next exhale, we're going to bend that right knee over the ankle. Bring the right elbow down. And we're going to stretch that left arm so it's pointed back behind us. We're reaching that arm. Now, it may be different on this side, so you may have to control it differently. Pointing it out away from us like there's just something right outside our line of normal reach. Forward we go. And then slowly and methodically downward. So we're being very smooth and methodical in our action, and then we're pointing it backward again and out until we're again forward, and then we're down, and we just let it dangle for a moment. Now we point it forward and outward until we're back, and then back down. And once again, the smooth line of going forward and outward until we're back, and then down, and we let it dangle. Keep the hips in the center. We're going to lift that left shoulder and chest up, lifting towards ceiling. Left arm can reach up, looking down or out to the side with the neck. Chest lifts up, but we also reach the chest toward the front edge of the mat. We take a deep breath in, and then exhale. We let the arm point back and swing itself forward. Again, that shoulder, that chest starts to lift. The arm can stretch up too, pulling upward and toward the front of the mat. Deep inhale. Exhale, the arm swings. And once again, the chest and the shoulder and the arm stretching up. Inhale. And then exhale and swing. And then we're going to start to bend that back left knee, hand to the knee, and we just sort of underneath, crouch down, and then up we go. Very good. And so that's a rather interesting way to work several different parts at once and gain some stretch in the shoulders. But I want us to work with the shoulders a little bit more, and so I'm going to invite us to come into positions where we'll be in a kneeling position. And if your mat does not seem to be thick enough for your knees, you might want to double it up or put something extra underneath the mat. And in this, I'm going to sort of create a nice little stair step of potential increasing difficulty and intensity. And I invite you to choose the things that work for you, challenge yourself the way that you feel comfortable with, but leave the rest as just, you'll experience it. You'll see it, other people doing it or seeing me doing it, without having to do it yourself. So it's okay to challenge, but don't make it miserable for yourself. And it's not going to be that miserable. It's just going to be some interesting potentials here. The first position I'm going to go into is what I call a downward puppy position. And so from a tabletop position, knees under hips, hands under shoulders, I walk my hands forward and pull my hips back until my arms can come down. And so that's the stretch, a little bit of a gentle stretch right now. But I'm going to lift my elbows up and then let my head hang and dangle. I'm just letting the head reach in between the arms. I can just sort of sway it slightly from side to side. And it's just the weight of the head's actually pretty substantial, and it's stretching our neck. And then I'm just going to let myself look forward. And so my elbows are off the floor, my hands are right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to bring it over the top of the right hand. So if I can only get it to there, that's fine. If I can get a little bit beyond, that's fine. Once I've done that, I pull back gently, and then I just sink down enough to feel a comfortable stretch. And so that left arm over the top of the right arm may be feeling the stretch. Don't make it anything that's increasing your discomfort. We just hang out there for a breath, and then we come back up and we put the left hand where it belongs, right, even with the shoulder. And in that position, then we take the right hand and we cross it. Maybe it just gets close to, on top of, or on the other side of. It's okay, whatever you find. And then we're just going to sink down into that stretch and breathe. If you get the just right stretch breathing into it, will loosen it. If it's too tight, your body's not going to let go. It's afraid you're going to damage it, so it didn't want to let go. So just go gently in. We'll come up, and the hands are even with the shoulders again. We'll do this once more. We'll take our hand, we'll bring it where we can, and then we will sink and take a deep breath and relax and come up out of that, hands to the start position, and now the right hand goes wherever it can, and then we sink comfortably and take a deep breath. Exhale and come out of that. Okay, that's great. All right. So now we're going to reposition a little bit, and by the way, that can always be the action that you do. You don't have to increase to anything, but you may find that this next part done from the tabletop version is also a reasonable thing to do. So instead of having my arms as forward, instead of being absolutely in a tabletop, my hands are just ever so slightly forward of the tabletop position. Now in this, I'm going to take my hand and it's going to go behind. So my left hand's going to go behind the right, and as far across, my right arm's still straight, as far across as I can reach. It's like I want that thing over there, and my hand comes down. And then I pull backward toward the hips and sink into this position. Gently sink and take a deep inhale. Right? Move those ribs. And then exhale, come up and back to the starting position. All right, now I'm going to take my right hand and keeping my left arm straight, I'm going to reach. I'm going to see if I can reach as far as I want to go. I pull back and sink. You decide how far you're going with this. Take a deep inhale, spread those ribs. And then exhaling, we come up and out of that, back to the starting position. Here we go again. That left comes across. Could be anywhere, it's just, I'm stretching. I want to feel a little bit of stretch. Palm goes down, we sink back, and we're into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. So all of this, you have to choose the stretch. You have to find it. It should not be miserable. If you are feeling that, you're going too far. And then the right hand's going to come across. I reach the distance it seems right. The hand comes down. I start to pull back, and I sink into that deep inhale. And then exhale, coming up and out of that. So we got two versions of this stretch. And I'm going to give you a third one for those, we're an all-level class, and so some people have more capacities and want to be challenged more, and some people would like to have it stay gentle no matter what their abilities are. And so I'm going to give you another version that is a more challenging version than this. It's going to have us not in the puppy position as a start, not in the tabletop position as a start, but as a downward dog, a very bent knee downward dog as a start. So I'll do this one a couple of times so you can do it with me, or you can just watch the first time and I'll do it 3 times. I'm going to have my hands slightly more forward than a tabletop position. I'm going to lift my knees up and push my chest back. And you can see I've got quite a bend in the knees, and I can spread my feet comfortably wide with this. Head is between the arms, and it's a lot like the tabletop version. I'm going to transfer weight to my right hand, got to hold it there, and then I'm going to reach my left arm across, and then I'm going to bend coming backward. Ooh, what an interesting stretch. And then I'll come up, hands are even. I'll take you can come down as you needed to reset. Left or right arm goes toward the left, and then I crouch and come back up again and come down. And so I'll do that again. If you want to do it with me, you can, and if not, you can do either the downward puppy or the tabletop version of this. So here I go again. From this position, I lift the knees, I push the chest back, head between the arms is how I start it. Knees very, very bent to take weight off the arms. Transferring weight to the right side, the left arm reaches across, and then we bend, we come into a comfortable stretch, and come up. It is challenging. Hands back to the start position, transferring weight to the left, right hand comes over, and we come down, and back up again. And then for the final thing, I'm going to show you one of each of these, and you can either just witness it or do it yourself. And so we started off as the position of the puppy, the arms stretching, the elbows off, and we took our hand, and the left hand would cross to the hand or across, and then we just sank into that stretch. Deep breath, exhale, coming out, hands neutral, and then right hand coming to what I felt was comfortable, sink down, inhale, and exhale coming out of that. Here's the tabletop version, hands not quite as far forward, but a little bit more than tabletop. And so I'm taking left hand, reaching comfortably across once the palm is flat, weight goes back, and I sink down, inhale, exhale coming out of that, hands back to the start. Right hand reaching across, palm comes down, and I sink down into the stretch, inhale, exhale coming out of that. And then here is that downward dog version. I push to lift the knees, I push my chest back, head between the arms, knees very bent, weight transfer to the right, I reach across, and I sink down into the crouch, and back up again. Right hand comes across, and sink down, and back up again, and there we go. And yeah, I don't stay in the downward dog as long as I stay in the easier, happier ones, but there you go. And so that's an interesting way to release the shoulder region, and And so we can roll the shoulders a little bit because you may have felt that they're responding, they're reacting, so roll them one way and roll them the other way. And then we're going to do a little bit now that's going to stretch the shoulders a little bit and stretch the legs a little bit.